Hi, hi,
Leon,
hi.
welcome to the Nurture House. Welcome to Leon's Healing Hands Esoteric Trips. We're here together because we wanted to bring this live stream to those, to our soul family, to those who are looking into taking spiritual trips. We're really looking at um, what it is to gather together with a collective of people and what that can do to our spiritual awakening, or even for those who are in the healing arts, because this trip is a really great trip for those on a spiritual awakening who are practitioners of the healing arts. And Leon, you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe there's more specifics to who this trip is for, because I want people to understand the benefits of the trip and the beauty that the land holds,
Yes,
and talk a little bit about the energy too, because it's all about energetics as well, right?
exactly. Uh, actually, all the retreats that I do is very authentic, very high level. It's let's say it's working retreat, not just a nice workshop on pretty location. It's a much more, and it's truly transformational retreat. You're coming back another person. Okay, first something about me. I think it's a bit better, I believe. Uh, well, I am. I was helping people regarding healing, getting better since I don't know since I was 10. So this is 35 years now. Nothing special, nothing super healing, just massages. 10-year-old kid. What does he knows about massages? Nothing. Just you need to rub something and maybe a little bit of you know. But people felt a lot better. Their back problems went away quite easily after a few massages, and uh, and was significant improvements only after one session. So, but this was, let's say, friends, family friends that came to visit, and back in the day, people worked a little bit harder, so they were a little bit more um, worked out, and they needed more help than today, a different help. Then what about almost 20 years ago, 15, maybe 20, I met my wife, and she started to awake me. So this is what 15, maybe 17, more accurate. 17-year-old process of awakening, remembering who I am, where I'm coming from, and all the uh, important stuff. So I started to remember my gifts, starting to implement them, starting to clear, and heal my karma and karmic patterns. Then taking control of my ego. This is the most important stuff for healing.
Mm. We got a little bit of a freeze going on with Leon Golden Hands, but he'll be back in a moment. And just to recap what I said, because I realized I was on mute when I said it, I was talking about the content that I'm creating here, what our vision and our mission is at the Nurture House as a company who is practicing the healing arts and supporting others, that we are here for those who are on their spiritual awakening, who are going through a pivotal time in their life that's very transformative, and they're requiring resources, tools, support, community. Community is so important. And I think that this is the reason why I'm really liking esoteric trips more than ever, to take a conscientious trip, a soulful trip that's beneficial and nourishing to both your body, your mind, and your soul's progress here on earth. I believe that we are here for a purpose. What that purpose is, I mean, to each and every one is unique, but as a whole combined, it supports the collective in uplifting them spiritually and growth. So there's upward spirals and downward spirals of growth. And so we're looking at the upward spiral. Everything is energy, and that's something that I strongly believe in. I feel energy comes first. And the way we do one thing is the way we do everything in life, which speaks volumes and has a lot of deep, deep meaning when you really sit with it and become introspective. So for someone to take a a spiritual trip during a spiritual awakening, or while they're still consciously taking strides towards personal development, spiritual growth. Maybe they've dedicated themselves to the healing arts, so they've become a practitioner of it. It's all really beautiful. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this to work. Trying to check in on Leon. Hmm. So, the purpose of today's um, live is to have that conversation. What are the benefits? What are the benefits of spiritual awakening? What are the distinctions? Just having this open conversation around what is spiritual awakening and personal development have to do with all of this. And so stay tuned as we get Leon back on. Okay, I'm going to jump on. Hold on to
Okay,
a different.
and okay. Uh, uh, Chandelle, can you come back to Restream? It's somewhere there. Okay.
Me?
Yes, I do hear you.
Okay.
And
And I have a quick question. Do I have to enter my live stream too, or do you just want to do it on your end,
uh,
like the
it's just a second. Need to check. On the other hand, on Zoom, not at the moment. Yeah, we're live.
Okay, we're live. Okay, I'm just checking my side of things. Con- Okay. Anyways, I was talking for a little bit and just touching base on some things, but you left off at where you were talking about how you started at 10 years old just giving simple massages,
Yes.
and then you saw that they felt better, and then there were other individuals that came with more chronic issues, right? It's called chronic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chronic acute.
Yeah.
And that
Uh,
they needed more of a different kind of laying hands. It seems like you're
yeah.
laying hands on them, right?
Yeah. I'm laying hands. I'm how to say uh laying hands, massaging them, doing energy work. So yeah, it's I don't know how to how to describe. You're connected
Well,
to the source.
didn't Jesus Christ lay hands in the Bible? People kind of under, right? Didn't
Yeah,
he? Like that's
yeah,
okay.
it's basically the same process, but it's uh, you put the energy inside intention, and you manipulate the energies, physical body if needed. So I'm talking about, um, let's say, uh, skeleton, muscles, and everything. So yeah, it's uh, how to say. That's difficult because it's how to describe how I do my healing. Well, I'm like a pipe. I'm just a channel. So uh, whatever I do, it's uh, I don't know.
No,
It's
you
get
had it. You had it right. You had it
yeah,
right, because that's actually really important, because a lot of people will say I'm a healer, and people get
yeah,
confused like I'm doing the healing. No, healer is actually someone who is reminding you as well. You're a channel, you're a conduit, and
yeah,
you are receiving. In a relaxed state, and you're receiving certain information that's energetic, and it's streaming through you, and you're amplifying the other person's energy, I believe, as well. That's what I feel when I'm doing energy work with people. I am
yeah,
certified to do energy work, so I've been doing some of this now for the last 7 years, and my practice is probably not like your practice, because I feel like you're a master at what you're doing. You've been doing it for so many years now, you and your wife, which, by the way, I do want to have another interview when it comes to your wife activating you, because I think there's something there for the community, because there's a lot of codependency in our community amongst couples, and there's a lot of
yes,
divorce and a lot of heartbreak and a lot of suffering and a lot of repression and domestic violence, and I want to talk about that some other time, like how that journey looked like, what it was like for you as the masculine to be awakened by your wife, the feminine, in her state. But that's for another day. But yeah, I
that's
think you hit the nail on the head with what you were saying. You're a
yeah.
channel.
It's I'm a channel, and she's the problem with current world is that um, how to say. Um, there's a lot men are still sorry uh, feminine energy is still not equal to masculine energy. Basically females are not equal in to men, but in a low sense, in the yes, but in fact they are still expect to do the work, go to job, contribute to the family, and raise the family, take care of it, uh, and home and everything. And many just provide some financial means, and that's it.
I feel
But
like
that's not
crying. I feel like crying
why.
because I feel like I feel like when while you're talking I'm receiving like these visuals, and I work with women, so I have a lot of in the United States.
Yeah,
Women unfortunately are not looked at as valuable when they're staying at home managing the home
exactly.
and managing the children, unless you're working to outdoors to
Yeah,
provide. But
exactly.
anyways, moving on to the healing hands. But yes, this is something I definitely want to do an interview with you on
And
in the
but this
future.
is connecting. This is very much connecting, and
Mm,
uh, because if you're not connected to your feminine or masculine energy, you cannot heal. Uh, you can be a therapist, but you cannot heal. That's a big difference.
mm. That's
Uh,
interesting. It's
yeah,
definitely something we'll go into again. I want because I definitely want to talk about esoteric trips.
yeah,
And I was just sharing with the community about living a conscious life and to choose to consciously go to a special space or place. Being a citizen of the world, I feel like it's our birthright, and I feel that if we do choose to consciously choose trips that will activate us, that it'll really help us along our personal development and spiritual growth. And so
yeah.
I wanted you to still share a little bit about how you ended up, because you had shared that your wife had awakened you and you started to see and remember, and you touch base on ego. So could you please also make the distinction of what is the purpose of the ego? Is it good? Is it bad? Is there such a thing as good and bad? You know?
Yeah, first, you need to distinguish that we have, let's say, two egos. You have the healthy one, so-called the angelic one. So this one is protecting us, being angels, basically, incarnated angels, and walking around the earth with open heart completely. So uh, this is the healthy part. So it's like that it prevents us to just give, and do not receive anything. So it protects us from being, you know, um, yeah. On the other hand, we have alter ego, so-called alter ego, that is that's developed from the healthy part, and basically protects us from all pain, all difficult stuff, everything that is difficult. So it goes easiest possible way at first glance anyway. So you need to control that. It's here, and it's not here to be destroyed, or uh, but you need to control it.
And
You
is
need
that that's by design? Nature
That's
designed?
by design. Yes, that's by design because we are in 3D. So this is our lesson. When we control all parts of us, all personalities, all uh, basically everything, then we can uh, truly learn and uh, and go to higher dimensions.
And what is the benefit of going into higher dimensions and
So it's
truly
not
learning?
3D. Yeah, that's it's not 3D. It's not as hard. We're more, let's say, transparent. Time flows by differently. Everything is different. It
Can we
cannot be.
create?
Yeah, it can basically our brains uh, cannot comprehend the difference between 2D, 3D, and 4 or 5D.
And I've
Uh,
heard this before. Yes.
yeah, it's impossible. It can be described, some feelings, but uh, it cannot comprehend because we're functional in total different manner. Our DNA, it's activated. It's not just two spiral DNA. It's three or four, sometimes five. Depends in which dimension we are.
And that's
Uh,
because the DNA awakens as you
exactly.
activate.
One goes with other. It's not just our spirit; it's our physical body as well involved. So we are still physical in fourth, fifth, sixth, even seventh dimension. In eighth, we are just energies,
Yeah, that's
manifested energies. It's not.
you're in all these different realms,
Yeah,
whether you realize it or not, and
yeah,
you are in different forms.
exactly,
And then at the lowest one, this is the materialized form.
exactly. The
So
most
I can
materialized.
see that in my mind when you're talking. I almost get like little downloads. And another thing that you helped me realize is that that's why I'm unable to sometimes use words to describe what I'm receiving, because I feel like I'm receiving information from other realms that I can feel, and I can feel the meaning of, but I can't put into words.
Exactly.
Is that similar to what? Because that sounds similar
Yeah,
to what you were describing. That you can't
yeah,
always put into words. It's just different.
yeah. It's similar as your feelings. Some you can
Yes, it
describe
is.
the basic ones, but how can you describe love? You cannot. You
And your
just
set.
you love someone or you don't. You have feelings, but those feelings, to describe them, it's impossible. You can describe them as love towards someone, to your partner or to your child, to your friend, but it doesn't have any uh, spoken language in 3D, doesn't have words for that because it's all mental.
That's how we got telepathy,
Yeah.
which is
So
something that still works in this day and age. We had Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi was Wi-Fi.
yeah, and we still do because telepathy, basically, I communicate with my animals in both ways, physically speaking,
Mm.
and with energies and telepathy.
You know what's
And
funny? Yesterday, go ahead.
yeah, go.
No, I was just gonna tie into that there was a mother who has a spiritual practice, and she went live with her daughter, and they do something called mental texting, where
Yeah,
when they're far away, they're telepathically communicating, and they put this muscle into
exactly.
practice. And she's
Yeah,
only like maybe 7 years old.
yeah. This this way of communication we all had when we were young, uh, young children, so babies basically. But
Mm.
uh, in time we forgot all that because no one practiced, and it's super hard to bring this back,
Mm.
because you need to clean your karma. You need to be really clean channel, and it's all this stuff and all the stuff we learned and in this life and past lives and all the bullshit we did in past lives. This needs to be awake, cleaned, and come into consciousness. All the bad stuff we did in previous lives. Not necessarily clean them, but you need to know who you are and what you're capable of. This is the, as you said, way of 100% light. The most time I describe this, it's like uh, our path of enlightenment. You have three ways, three paths. You have touristic way, mountaineering way, and climbing way. So touristic way is on the mountain. It's very easy. You go around and around and around and around. It takes a lot of time, and it is the easiest. And but the catch is it has a lot of hidden obstacles. This is where the devil um, tests us, and usually we fail, and we learn on our mistakes very slowly. So we tend to repeat our mistakes. So
And you said this is called a touristic
yeah, like
route.
tourism. Yeah, it's very slow, very light hill, light inclination.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
you have mountaineering, so you're hiking, you're trekking. It's uh, faster learning. It's more difficult. Let's say this is path of light. Uh,
Is this the kind where you're cutting karmic contracts and learning who you get to be?
yeah, yeah,
Kind of
but
karmic
yeah, but it's not super fast either. It's faster, but not super fast.
and just to explain a little bit about what's a karmic contract, would you mind bleeping that?
Karmic
Because again, this is for
contract,
new.
yeah, karmic contracts are when you're in a relationship, whatever relationship that might be. It can be your partner, friends,
Family.
family, partners in business, whatever. The people
Mm.
you are in contact constantly, those are karmic because of karma. So yours, theirs, everything together. So you learn, you pay your debt to them, and they are paying their debts to you. You there are only few instances that no one has karmic relationship to one each other, but the other one has. So, for instance, we all have basically karmic relationship, karmic debt to angels, basically.
That's interesting. Never heard of that
But
one.
angels doesn't have karmic debt to us
Why is that?
because they clear all their shits already. We haven't.
No. So in some way, it affects all of us. How when we do a
Yes,
clearing at an individual level, it sends out like a ripple effect throughout all of the
exactly,
energy field, the web of life,
exactly,
I guess.
exactly.
That's
And
how I see it, at least.
yeah, then we have karma in general. So when we're, let's say, kings and rulers of the countries, planets, even galaxies, systems, doesn't matter. When we have power and a lot of knowledge, this we as humans, as not as humans, as beings with ego and with alter ego, it's tendency that we abuse that. So if you're individual, you may, let's say, the worst case scenario, you kill, let's say, you can kill as a serial murderer hundreds maximum, right? Or when you're terrorists, you can kill thousands with explosion or whatever. But when you're a ruler of a big country or a planet, it's easy to destroy another planet. That's billions. And a system with the planets, that's hundreds of billions.
That's interesting. And it also shows you how responsible you get to be and how you wield your life,
Exactly. And
your
then
life force.
then we come to 100% light. And the 100% light, it's you need to know your your potential, what you're capable of, your maximum negativity, uh, the let's say the tyrant, and the maximum positivity. When you have those extremes,
Mm-hmm.
you can uh, you know arithmetical middle. That's the zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the path to God, to the Creator, and that's 100% light. This is equivalent of mountain climbing way to the mountain, but there's a catch.
What's the catch?
It's like climbing on the mountain through the fire and broken glass with nails.
Hmm.
It's the shortest, and with the first step, you learn where to step and how to
It's the
climb.
shortest, but it's the hardest.
Exactly.
And the most, and possibly the most scariest and painful one, maybe.
It
Just,
is most painful because everything is accelerated.
but the
So
pain, but purification kind of happens, it feels like, in the
yeah,
process.
it's the purification is it's not multiplied. It's thousand times, million times faster than everything else. So
And this is why it's
Going
beneficial to go
yeah,
to an esoteric trip.
exactly. I'm not saying I'm one of the representatives of 100% light on Earth. At least I'm trying to be. Uh, Still not there all the time. I still have alter ego. Still getting mad. You know, we're still humans.
Does that mean that we have a karmic contract?
Of course we do. Uh, I have been bad. You have been bad. We all have been good. But we wouldn't be healers if we haven't been good. So
Right. Right. And that could take many lifetimes for us to kind of also correct the path, I suppose, right? If we have.
exactly. But the catch is in this era we are living in, uh, it's super blessed from Creator, meaning that all the karma, everything is it's cleaning and clearing by the factor of more than a million
That's
times
interesting.
faster than normal.
And this is the whole entire coming back to that from place. If you're helping in many
Yes,
selfish.
exactly. Uh, uh,
And I wanted to touch base on its power. Why we want to live life is the ability that we affect everything is right, and what you get back
yeah,
isn't, you know. So, and you had mentioned that if we were in a um, for example, we could destroy planets if we weren't
yeah,
careful with how we cared for our, you know. So I'm wondering, individual level, when you cause violence on sabotage or growth and stuff, it really just, and then whoever's lives you're touching, you're really just kind of sending out, aren't you?
exactly. And funny you should mention that because in this retreat I had a client. So it was for just after the solstice. I had a client that had exam same problem, comprehending and figuring out what exactly he did uh, to his planet, to his home planet. Um and he knew already through my sessions and through uh, his workshops and everything what he did basically. He knew that he destroyed the planet, but to clear all the karma he need to realize everything in details basically what he did. And in this retreat he did figure it out. It's not like I'm lecturing something about the pyramids, the spiritual growth and everything. We do meditations, and those meditations are super deep, super high level, and we go and we connect to the pyramid. We go to high etheric levels. We do try to, I don't know, um, uh, how to say,
Nice deep breath.
yeah,
No, but
uh,
again, this is tying into what you were saying, the esoteric trips and being able
yeah,
to have a facilitator at your
yeah,
hold space and be a container. So I've understood that now too. The container that you're in
yeah,
energetically matters.
exactly. And so we did those meditation and on every location. connect to the pyramids, connect to the location we were. So from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun to the Pyramid of the Moon, Pyramid of Dragon itself, to the tumulus and the person that is buried down there, to the sarcophagus and to the source at the same time, and just being connected to those places at the same time, it's really powerful. And at the same time, you'll get all the um, downloads, all the transformation, DNA, and your consciousness. You're raising your frequencies and everything that goes with it. This is true transformation, what it's all about. And this is what's different. And I'm not even talking about the events and everything what is going on the pyramid of the moon, which is uh, the highlight of everything because we are there the whole day from the morning to the late evening, and we have a very beautiful uh, lunch prepared on open fire. Uh, uh, we have some really good local spirits. Uh, Bosnian coffee that is something unheard of for US.
That sounds
It's
really
like,
nice.
yeah, it's and the energies are so feminine, like mother-like. It's overwhelming, basically. And when we go over the excavations on top, you see different civilizations trying to repair the pyramid. Um, and you can actually calculate the minimum age just from that, just from uh, reparations, because there it's built in certain way. Then it's the building blocks are changed, and you have soil, not clay, not no glue, no nothing that is holding uh, stones together, blocks together. So you have soil in between, and it takes certain amount of time to soil to accumulate, you know. And from that you can calculate how old is it. Not, but this is the minimum age. It's a lot older, but still, it's
It's pretty old. That's a big
it's
deal.
the, let's say, rule of thumb. I calculated through information I got from geologists how long the 1 centimeter of soil accumulates, but this depends on the volcanic activity and everything else. It is minimum 100,000 years old,
I wanted to say something because it's coming
and
up for me to say.
and
Go
that's
ahead.
and that's and that's the youngest pyramid.
Wow. So what's the oldest pyramid?
The pyramid of the sun. Let's say the official what they can actually prove it's plus minus few hundred years, but around 30,000 years.
Wow. That's a
Uh,
lot.
what I do know from my information, from my downloads through communication with different civilizations, different entities, the last repair was done of outer surface was done 600,000 years ago.
Wow. And all that's
So
from just being able to be silent and downloading information, connecting to
exactly,
the land.
yeah,
And I wanted to say this because we're bringing up the connection to the land. I feel that, and very much so here in the United States, because we have so little of land to enjoy now because we're overpopulating, they keep building on top of the spaces. And now with COVID, Arizona is at risk of a lot of its land. being covered in buildings. And what I'm trying to say with this is that it's unfortunate because I feel like the reason why a lot of us have amnesia too, or have a lot of chaos, is because we're unable to connect to our land. If we would connect to the energy, the consciousness of the planet in that way, where we could, earth more openly, we would probably remember a lot quicker, period, in general. And our bodies will start to recalibrate, will start to
Exactly,
harmonize. Harmony versus disharmony is really the easiest two spectrums. And it's
exactly. And yesterday I just saw on YouTube one simple proof of that. You can have a very simple voltmeter, and you put negative uh, diode into the earth, and you hold the positive, and you're standing on shoes, barefoot, and the voltage say 0 point something. When you put only one hand, only one foot on the soil, it goes crazy immediately. It just spikes and stay there.
electrons, right?
Yeah, we're
Everything's
batteries.
energy.
So
We're
yeah,
batteries. Yep.
yeah, we, we're batteries, but not batteries in sense of accumulating electricity, but uh, our body were made to be connected uh, to the Earth. So the Schumann frequency is rising. Did you know that?
Yes, I saw that. I saw that the Schumann frequency is rising and I could not sleep since, remember I told you I wasn't able to sleep for several days last
Yeah,
weekend? Now I
from
understand.
17th onwards, and in our community where I live, when I'm not in Bosnia, uh, we had really important meditation with some people,
Hmm.
not as many as last year, but still. Uh, and the Schumann frequency just spiked on 18th, just afterwards, and it was like normal, and then through the roof, and stayed there, and even through the solstice came even higher.
So all of it is working together,
Exactly.
period, because there's no separation. Everything is
No?
one.
And this
Cause
is,
and effect.
yeah, this is coming back to the fourth and fifth and sixth dimensions, different realities. Uh, it's like we are being more one with everything. We are more connected with each other, with the planet, with Creator, with other beings from other civilizations, not just us.
Do you think there'll come a day where, real soon, where we'll see our brothers and sisters from the sky descending down to just pick us up for a ride?
It's happening.
It's happening, right?
I see them every day, every single day, constantly, 24/7. But
Because you
they're
know the
hidden. They're
uh
hidden from most of them, most of people, because people are scared, and scarcity. When you're scared, uh, actually, fear is emotion that is opposite of love,
mm-hmm.
because it's not if love is everything. So I'm talking about universal love, creator's love, God's love.
Is there a
Uh,
different kind of, there's a love that comes from fear too, right? Because love can kill.
that's hate. Yeah, but you need to feel something to hate someone.
I want to talk about that though, because how do people get into that state when you're born? You're born a blank slate, right?
No.
There's no. That's what they tell us in philosophy. In
Yeah,
philosophy, in philosophy, they tell us you're a blank tabula rosa. You're a
yeah.
blank slate. Why? Why is that? Where did that come from?
Uh,
The masses
denying karma,
wanting
denying
to have a reason. That's the devil.
that's the devil. But it's not the devil's work. It's it's influence of religion, like Christianity in specific, because
Specifically Christianity. Just kidding.
exactly, yeah, because it's different with Muslims, a lot
Hmm.
different. Uh, that's some consciousness because if we don't have karma, we are born blank, so no karmic, no blank sleeve, blank page. So everything we learn, everything we do in this life uh, influence that, but our past doesn't have influence on blank page, but it does. At first 40 days, and this is in all religion, all sacred scripts, in all, from the beginning. First 40 days from the birth, we are blank, yes. We are total influence from God. That's it. Afterwards, our personality sets in,
Yeah.
and with personality setting in, the the karma stuff comes.
Mm.
So they say no baby is evil. That's not true. Thirty
Scary.
percent. Look, look at the details. The numbers. 30% of all born children are pure evil. But if they have really good parents, they can guide them from pure evil to being just a bad person.
Hmm. Interesting.
But because you cannot, they can be best versions of themselves in a long time.
Right. And little by little, like it chips away at and it levels
Yeah.
them up. We have someone here who says the source made the ego so that it would play hide and seek with itself, forgive and love. This life is deceptive. God sleeps in the rock, dreams in the flowers, awakens in the animal, and knows in man that he is awake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It made the ego, the healthy stuff, the healthy ego, but not the alter ego. Alter ego is not made from the source. It was made, uh, yeah, was made, but afterwards to save us. It was the alter ego started when we gain free will, free choice. Because if we in our past, if we didn't, uh, if free will wasn't given to us, uh,
Is this the
all-
conversation around good and evil and
it's a lot
the
deeper.
apple of knowledge?
It goes long before Adam and Eve. I'm not
I'm
talking about
sure.
biblical sense, but before that. Uh, it's the alter ego was so alter ego was created out of the free will. So
Mm.
because how to say hmm uh, because everything went south long time ago, and to save the omniverse, so to save beings, creator gave us a choice, not to be good or bad, but gave us a choice of free will, so we can choose for ourselves to be good or bad.
Wow. It's intricate. It's really intricate and complex. And I wanted to touch base a little bit on the devil, and then I want to jump back onto esoteric trips and tie it
Yeah.
into why these trips are really special for individuals who are on their personal development and spiritual journey. But the devil, I've always thought about, because to me I see like yin and yang, dark and light, fear and love, death, rebirth,
Yeah.
um comfortable, uncomfortable, harmony, disharmony. Like that's how I am able to process existence.
Yeah, but you're
So the go ahead.
yeah, go.
I was just gonna say, so the devil to me, like it's just a word. It doesn't register as the way they try to teach us in biblical senses, where it's this. Like I can't even fathom it being separate necessarily from source because there is a point, isn't there, in source where everything comes from.
Yes.
Period. We are everything and yet we are nothing. Now we're talking about the alchemist, being the
Yeah,
alchemist in a way,
yeah. The
right?
emphasis is everything.
Right,
Emphasis on everything, including the devil.
right.
The catch is the devil was created. It comes from. Oh, that's interesting. The energy of Jesus and devil himself separates the same energy in 14th dimension. If you're
Mm.
talking about 24 dimensional system, this is super, super, super simplified. It's a lot of interdimension, many dimensions in between those dimensions, multiverses. It's super complicated to explain, but if you simplify enough, there are 24 dimensions. Creator of everything, source of everything is 23, 24th dimension. uh, so archangels are on 18th, I believe. Uh, Maybe higher on 19, but I'm not sure. Uh, I need to look it up. Uh, but let's say the energy of Jesus and Satan divides on 13th dimension. Jesus stays in, let's say, pink energies, very beautiful pink energies, but the energy of Satan looks like a rainbow,
Mm.
very bright rainbow.
Hmm.
But Jesus, let's say Satan in 13 dimensions, it's really different than something in third dimension.
Hmm.
And
Very unique.
so let's ask you, uh, who is teaching us? Who is our teacher? Creator, right? Yeah. And we have someone that and we need to confirm our knowledge like in school that we learned something, and who gives us exams? Satan.
Mm.
Yeah. So he always gives us a choice: come with me with, I don't know, whatever temptation, or be godlike. That's our choice. That's the say this separation from the same energy that Jesus and Satan comes was created because of our free will.
Mm. And I
So
understand that. That we
we
came
have
out after.
temptation, the exam, so we can choose go bad or go good.
But the origin story is
Origin
still
is the
kind of
same. We're coming from, let's say, one comes was divided to three, and the three was divided to 12. 12 goes to 144 masters of wisdom. But head of the family, then you have 1,440 and 14,400 and 144,000. And you
like.
have 1,440,000. Those are including Masters for Wisdoms, Rainbow Warriors, Light Warriors, Grid Workers, Indigos, Star Seeds, you name it. Basically, light workers.
Is it
This,
true?
yeah.
I was gonna say, and I apologize. Is
No,
it
no.
true that they say that when Jesus, I'm just gonna put it out there, when Jesus came down to bear the message that the kingdom of heaven is within us, or whatever the case is, that we idolized him, and instead of taking the information, we manipulated it and twisted it, so it never really got to land probably as authentically as it should have. And so they sent out an army, not an army, but like the light workers, the all of the star seeds to come to show again, I guess, because obviously when they sent down Jesus, we we didn't really get the message. That's something that I
No,
heard. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah.
let's put it this way: the first prophet was David Psalms, and we didn't get it. Then the Moses came, and we didn't get it either. Then Jesus came, and we didn't learn either.
Hmm.
Then the Muhammad came, we didn't learn either. So then uh, Rumi was incarnated, and we're not still getting it.
Where are all the women?
He's incarnated as women. The Rumi is incarnated as woman, and she's 95, 96 now.
Yeah, I was always wondering. Like, we hear a lot of masculine, or a lot of men as these bearers of messages, but then we have women. I don't know. I'm like, where are all the God? Where are all the women who bear the message too? There's got to be
Look at the religions, all of them.
Mary Magdalene,
You have
Aquan,
you have a head and you have a neck.
a hat and winnow.
Who is the head? A man, right? And who moves a head? A woman. A neck.
Yeah,
And who
that's true. I've
attacks
heard that
neck
before.
first? Only the animals. But humans attack
That's
head
interesting.
first.
And it's deep.
Exactly.
But we're
So
gonna go into that one.
we
It's gonna be
have
for
uh,
different conversation amongst.
exactly, and we are the only planet in the omniverse that has this deviation and separation, uh, female, male. The only planet. Everything
Hmm.
else is the same, equal. That's funny.
Yeah,
It's not funny,
Dolores.
but
Do you know who
it's sad.
Dolores Cannon?
I heard
It's
of it.
sad. I agree with you. Yeah. Oh, you've heard of her.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dolores Cannon is interesting because of her books, her approach. She has a very unique way of explaining to people about the dimensions, about our capabilities, about channeling, about other beings out there. But I would say that she's the one who really opened me up to see things in different ways too. And I wanted to also say that the situation with babies being born, I always wondered why my sister was born. When she was born at 3 months. She went straight into the hospital with collapsed lungs. 75, 75% of her lungs were gone, and she had to go through
okay.
some really painful experiences. And she had spent 6 months of her life in hospital along with my mother, just sitting. There was a lot of downs, abuse and stuff right from the moment she was born. And I always wonder, what did you do in your past lives to deserve all this? It was a weird thought at that time. I wasn't even spiritually necessarily, but that's what popped into my head was like, what did this child do?
A lot.
So that's interesting that you had mentioned that we don't necessarily come in with a blank tabula rosa. It's more that we have a certain period of time where we're just this pure light, but then with time, personality eventually comes online, and then other
Exactly.
things come with it. And then that's when the game begins, I suppose. Is it safe to say that this is Earth School, that this is a school for us then?
Uh, it's cool and uh, learning process. Actually, let's say those 1,440,000. Um, we came from our systems, our planets as experts, as best of the best. Because let's say once upon a time, God, Creator, whoever, whoever want to call it, the source of everything, put out how is translated? Let's say a note, uh, a letter, invitation. Earth needs help. Let's send some best of the best we have to help them, and we volunteered, but no one read the fine print that we will forget who we are, and then
I remember
all the bullshit started.
the fine. Why would they do that to us? The why have to make it a final print? That sounds like something we would do in the United States with contracts.
Yeah, that's
I'm
it's not the fine print, but uh, we left ourselves the crumbs to follow when we were born into these shells on Earth.
You said crumbs,
But
right?
yeah, and if you follow them, well, no problem. But if you don't, you have a problem.
It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be a painful journey. It's gonna be slow,
In the long
painful.
run, touristic way.
Yeah, touristic way. And I want to also say, because I want this to be human in a way too, that in my journey, because I could not afford facilitation or going to a master, which is something that a lot of people struggle with, um, that I had to really hone in on my cookie crumbs back to the soul and listen to my
Exactly.
intuition, which I was very, again, could have been the touristic route for a little bit there in my teens and in my younger years. But I think that once I had my child, my first child, something happened that got me back to my roots. And I remember wanting to protect her energy field without even knowing what chakras were. I just knew I had to find a way to help her. But additionally, that it is universal truth in some ways, that because here you are saying
Exactly.
cookie crumbs, and I'm over here using the same terminology and speaking to others about my personal, individual experience of my spiritual awakening, having been these little cookie crumbs that have led me back to my gifts and to who I used to be and what I stand for and what my virtues and values are at a much grander scale, not from this individual place, but like as a whole, like kind of like practicing, I guess, like a golden rule, like the way you would do unto others, you'd have it done unto yourself. Like I feel I'm very I'm very loyal, and I really want to come from a place of being supportive to the collective by me doing the work. So I guess how you had said, I'm still dealing with ego. I'm still human, but I'm achieving. I'm working towards being 100% light. And so that's why these trips and being in facilitation and is really supportive for those who can do them, because it can really help you with getting on track and not that touristic route.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is for those that basically cannot afford or do not cannot afford retreats. They are expensive because it's very uh, concentrated energy, and uh, and the work that is done it's concentrated. So let's say, uh, and you have the cost and everything. They're not expensive.
I don't feel
Uh,
like it's expensive at all. I know what price
it's
it is.
but yeah, but
It's not
for
expensive.
instance, for Bosnia, just getting here from US to Europe, it's costly.
Mm,
Then you have the retreat. So if we're talking about, I don't know, let's say in general, 2,000 euros for or dollars for a retreats.
yeah.
Rule of the thumb for 7 days. Then you have the traveling costs and
Hmm.
accommodation and. So
Right.
there is more affordable way to to do all this, and there are workshops available. It's called transformation. what it's called, 3D to 5D.
3D to 5D. And you also have something that I saw that you were, well, you have it on your business WhatsApp, which is the anxiety
Yeah,
one that you were talking. I know it's not 3D to 5D, but I think that there's something to be said about people at different levels. I feel for those who feel a lot of anxiety and overwhelm, it's like an
yeah,
intro into
something
so.
else. Yeah, it's intro because you need to control your anxiety, you need to control your emotions, and mindfulness. You need and stress basically, and every anxiety form shape produces a lot of stress. So basically, this is the way of healing. Uh, if you put your body in a stressless uh, environment, I'm talking about physical stress, emotional stress, um, psychical stress, chemical stress. This is everything we put into our body. Uh, So if you put and you rule out all the stress environments, including chemical stress, and so including detox, body can re-heal yourself itself. So redo itself. If you put in, and even if you're, let's say, put a little bit of right energy, healing energy, stem cells, and everything is possible,
Mm. Well, the body
including.
has healing mechanisms.
Exactly. So I saw a third set of teeth growing back in 80s and even in 90s. Uh, I saw finger
Good.
growing back. That's miracles.
Wow. Well, tails can regenerate their lizards can regenerate their tails. Why can't we
Exactly.
regenerate a
Exactly.
finger?
And we
I've
are
always
coming
thought
from
about
it.
that. Starfishes can
We
do
have, yeah, we have same DNA, part of
to
the DNA.
unlock that. That's the
The
trick.
Yeah, to unlock it, that's the trick. So and let the body heal itself, and that's that's
That's
the
my
thing I do the
specialty.
mostly.
Well,
Yeah,
good because that's our specialty because I help people integrate the body
exactly.
and because here in the US we have a system that does not honor our true nature, which is why my company is called Nurture Thy Nature, pioneering in yourself healing. What is it to honor your nature? How do you even discover what your true nature is when you've been so
If you don't know who
disconnected
you are,
perhaps?
exactly,
You don't know who you are. And then we're also disconnected from the land. So how can we
exactly.
even remember quicker? So again, earthing, getting into a place. I like to use the power of the six senses. And I don't know what you'll say about the body and how the
It's
body
the same.
supports us in our spiritual awakening.
Yeah, we're
But
teaching the
what
same
there's
stuff,
also,
but
it's funny because
different uh, titles. So
terminology, but that's what I
yeah,
do. I use a series of really getting them to fine tune into the inner world through the power of the six senses. I blindfold them, I put them into a shamanic journey with death. And that's really been actually downloaded not too long ago when we went to Arya Leadership. Work seamlessly with all of these different modalities that I had tried that didn't necessarily work for me, but I had to custom to what my soul needed. So it incorporate the body. And I feel like here in the United States, that's something that they keep us separated from. They keep us separate from nature. They try to separate us from having a moment of silence for us to recollect ourselves because we're always on the go. We're always told to exercise productivity and being an achiever and to
and
fill empty
individuality.
voids, individuality, and so instead of like interdependence, which also a pendulum swing occurs too because it seems like people are trying to find their balance now, but
Yeah,
we're getting very extreme reactions and responses in the collective. Like now we all of these very sensitive topics that it's all around self-expression, the express wanting to accepted and feel unconditionally loved at whatever state, I guess, they're in. But the
Yeah.
point is that the system here in the United States does not allow us. So you have to wake up and see race for what it is, and you get to use it to support you basically in honoring yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just a way for you to understand where there's okay, so you get to check in with yourself and try to bring yourself into alignment. And so going to a practitioner like Leon might have
For
more
you.
experience, or me here in
Yeah.
Miami, Florida, or but the point is to find someone that speaks to your soul and that you really feel like it's a full body yes working with is really important too, you know, and practicing your intuition, to be in your intuition, to have that internal GPS guiding you. Um, I don't know how you feel about people and their intuition, but I feel like that's the thing that we get understanding that the power is within them, that they have abilities to see the truth, you know, and not to be
Yeah.
fooled or by the illusion of the Maya, the illusion in the
Exactly.
esoteric. So the
Yeah.
body is a really big factor. Go ahead. Could you add to the
Yeah.
body being an
Um,
important?
uh, it's the most important stuff, if you ask me, for our health, for our progress, raising consciousness, raising frequencies, is being connected to yourself, to your higher self, to your soul, so you can communicate with yourself. And it's very easy. It's not easy. It's easier to control your ego, uh, connect to the source, to the God, to the angels, to the different realms, different dimensions, different uh, systems, but for and connect to the earth, basically, to the planet. It's She's our mother. She's truly one with everything, but we are treating her as we are, and you know that, and that's not good. Uh,
We're treating her the way we treat our women here in the United States.
exactly.
I
Worse, I
feel,
believe.
yeah, and I thank you for reminding me. I wanted to bring this up. It was a realization I had that the way, and this is something that this is why I'm a self-love empowerment coach for women specifically who abandon themselves and don't prioritize themselves, because I feel like it reflects upon the earth's diminishing as well, and the more we turn a blind eye to our spiritual cleansing and our physical cleansing, in some ways it's also affecting the earth, and we're outwardly sending out poison and not
Yeah,
caring for our planet and not caring for our body, our mind, our soul at a certain level. Because there's
exactly.
more, right? And I see that in the world, because people like to turn blind eyes a lot and say, oh, everything is fine. I don't see global warming. I don't see this. And that's that fake positivity shit that people be on, you know, and then instead of that
Yeah,
radical acceptance.
it's easier to lie to yourself that it's everything okay or okay-ish. It's not as bad as it is. Than facing the truth, because if you're facing the truth and you see as it is, it's very difficult to sorry, then you need to stop lying about yourself and what kind of tyrant you have been, and your karma, and that you're not, for instance, bad person, that you're not as good as you think you are, and you need to see things as they are, and that's not easy. That's
It's
hard.
not. It's very hard.
and
Very hard.
and yeah, and let's see, for me, it's accepting criticism is sometimes it's hard to listen and hard to accept, but and we usually have tendency to react to it.
We
And
gotta humble
even
ourselves.
yeah, and even if I'm in some sort of the process in process or not myself, uh, uh, usually not always, I have tendency to listen at least and accept. Okay, if someone is telling me that I respect and I know that he or she is telling me the truth, I'm even it's so hard to listen. I try to listen,
It's very
and this is
important
something
to do some active listening.
exactly, exactly. And even if it's that they're saying, "Look, Leon, you're a bullshitter. You're this and that, and you're really bad." Blah 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 blah. Okay, let's say it's true.
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's let's suppose that it's true. Okay, that's the first step. You know, let's say it's true. What's done? If it's true, or at least part of it is true, then I need to work myself on myself. Then I need to see my bad part, the dark side of me, and that's not
Right.
easy.
No, it's not.
And
And that's a deep combo.
exactly,
Because I also want to touch
but
base a little bit on the fake positivity when we get to go ahead.
yeah, and if and if you're not listening, at least listening, no, 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 that's not true. Then you're fighting back, and you're fighting back with power, not with love, but with power, and that is getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and you're denying even the possibility that they might be right. So uh, that's something uh, I actively try to avoid.
Hmm. And I think those are good tips, by the way. I think you should do a whole class on active listening and triggers.
Well, you can.
We
Uh,
should, we should, because I think that
then
at
we
a
will.
basic level,
Yeah.
you know?
And on the other hand, uh, if you control your ego, those situations are not even coming to you. Even if you're not cleaning and clearing your karma, because the
Hmm.
ego is resisting to listen, resisting to accept the bad stuff, because that hurts. He knows that. So to overcome that, that's another workshop we can
Yeah, we
flow.
should definitely
Uh,
yeah.
how to control an ego.
Mm-hmm. Or how to control. Doesn't that seem a little how do you isn't there a better word than control? Control seems
What? Then tell
I don't
me
know, I gotta figure
something.
that out.
I'm open to it. To everything. It's as I said, you
Well, I'm
cannot
gonna sit
kill
with
it.
it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's you cannot kill it. How to transform, maybe.
Make it ally. Make it an
No, no, no,
ally.
no, no,
You can
no.
make it an
He's
ally,
not
you
an
know?
ally. You need to control it and transform it. Because I'm talking about alter ego, not the ego itself.
Alter
That's a
ego.
different point. Yeah,
What is what is your take on okay, so and that's I think something that I think all of this is probably going to get broken up into little segments because I hear a lot of really good topics that if we simplified them, I
yeah,
feel that there's a lot of people at an introductory level to spiritual awakening and becoming more of a conscious person would definitely
yeah.
benefit from because I don't
Definitely.
feel like you're subjected to life. I feel like things are happening for you, not to you, right? So that you can choose to move or what is your thoughts on that? Because we have a lot of psychology around, mindset, right? Mindset. They talk
Yeah,
about
the
mindset a
minds.
lot.
Yeah, uh, when you're not controlling your life, so you're not manifesting things. Things are happening to you.
That's a
So
better distinction.
you're not in control. When you learn how to manifest things, including wealth and everything, uh, things you you make them happen. You make things happen. So good or bad doesn't matter. For instance, I'm really good in manifestation as a soul, as an energy, but because I misused this knowledge, I have patterns. So at the moment, I'm not, let's say, I haven't conquered mastership of manifestation yet. I'm doing it. I'm learning, relearning everything, and it's getting better and better and better. So I cannot teach on it yet, but I will in time, in this lifetime, I hope. In theory, I know everything, but in practice, uh, you know, uh,
I feel you
uh,
on that one. I think
it's
we're all
not,
at
it's
different
not,
levels of that.
yeah, it's like many spiritual leaders. I'm not talking about the good ones. I'm talking about the ones that read thousand books, written hundreds of them. Maybe they're not talking from experience uh, mostly, but from learning from others, from books,
There's a big difference
and
between experience and learning.
and
I feel you.
they're full of theory, but they're lacking in practice. And they're teaching
Yes.
theory. So don't it's like written in Bible. Uh, don't listen what don't look what I do. Listen to what I preach, because they are two
Right.
different things.
Right. They
So
are.
and you have thousands and thousands of them. They are basically full of shit.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
fake. For me, they're
That's
fake.
why we have a lot of misinformation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
That's why
they're not communicating
I
with,
also want to come back.
yeah, they're not
Go
communicating
ahead. They're not
with their
communicating with
souls,
what?
with their
Oh.
souls, with themselves, with higher consciousness of them and other entities.
Communion with the self.
Exactly. So it's like
And that's why I love my.
one up, one down, and one to the heart. This is the communication way.
I feel you. Okay. I
Yeah,
think I feel that I'm in that space for myself. I think I'm at that space and I'm exercising and to stay connected in that way so that I can honor my soul and but I wanted to touch base on the what's it called again? The toxic positivity that make it fake it till you make it type,
yeah,
because I feel that a lot of that theory stuff that you're talking about comes from that mindset. Sometimes when I talk to people about mindset, and there's a difference between coming to a place of radical acceptance with yourself
yeah,
and then knowing that you have the potential or the possibilities of shifting everything, right? But not until you accept your current. So if you're
exactly,
someone who's harboring, like, for example, resentment, grief, maybe something painful that you're holding on to, something traumatic, maybe who knows what's happening, right? It could be any series of things that could be triggering you. Um, People tend to repress it. People tend to repress it
exactly,
because they don't want to admit that their life is a certain way. So my work is in use energies in sacred ceremonial ways for processing and then once they've released at a cellular level, these emotions, these energies, then they can now find the harmony, the clarity. They become a place where they can maybe bring in some new experiences, some energies, realign themselves, but not actually accept their current state. What do you think about that and about the fake positivity?
Well, as you probably know by now, I'm really radical of torturing myself to and kicking my ass to go forward. Uh, Sometimes, literally, I'm so mad at myself that I start to box at the wall from bricks. So it's not plaster or something softer. Um, so sometimes pain reminds me that I need to listen to my feelings, um, to my senses, all the pain, because pain is not fake. It's not bad. Pain uh, tends to teach you something. So I learned a long time ago that when I was afraid of pain, that being in fight it's not that bad. That's I started to accept pain and stop being afraid of being in pain. When I accepted the pain and I was starting to observe it only, and the pain
Mm-hmm.
was managed. And this is something Shaolins are teaching. They're not
Transmuted. It transforms itself. It's no longer
exactly.
pain. I know
It's
because I
something
felt that.
else. You're just observing.
I have experience. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're observing, you can, uh, without personal effect, you're releasing it,
And you're
and
softening
it's not
around.
affecting you either. Exactly, and you start to
You're
learn,
softening around the
and
edges. It again,
and
it's a feeling.
exactly, and when there is no pain, alter ego doesn't have any tools to manipulate you
And
because
that's why
it's
we're
actually
awesome.
it's
Because
actually
I feel
because
that that's
yeah, because alter ego is trying to avoid you from pain, from suffer, from getting hurt. He or she wants
which
to
it's
take the easy way.
right.
This is painless. Drive through stores and supermarkets. You know, not walking the path.
But does come a point where you've mastered that it no longer really is pain. And you do have a sovereignty
Exactly.
that comes into place. And that sovereignty is is a really sweet spot,
Exactly.
I would
And
say. It
sovereignty, yeah,
feels yeah.
it's super sweet spot. It's the light. It's path of light at at the worst minimum. At the best, it's 100% light and everything in between. But look, you said fake positivity. Uh, it's
Mhm.
like looking the American way of talking, living,
Or
and
it's empty calories.
yeah, food, for instance, and
Think about it.
European
Yeah, I
way,
think about it in
and
terms of
European way.
food, right?
In Europe, you're at least this German influenced way area. So German, Austria, Swiss, Balkans in a way, Hungary, and um, Scandinavian countries, most of them anyway. We are super
Mhm.
direct. We are so direct comparing to uh, US that hurts. So tell me something. If I'm bad, tell me I'm bad. Tell me everything. I maybe fight about that. I won't agree with it at that moment, but tell me. I would like to know because I would like to know and improve on it. So it's easier.
Right.
It's on long run, it's easier to have first pain, first reaction, first resentment than the last. If you're talking to someone, okay, maybe you're this and that, like a cat running around the hot soup, hot milk, it's not the right way.
No, right? And this is why again we're having this live because we want to talk about what it is to community is so important, I feel, right? And that's
Yeah,
what you find also
yeah,
on these trips is community. Because
exactly.
people will start to fall away as you're going through your spiritual awakening or even on your path of choice of being 100% light. Things are going to start looking very different. Things could look scary. You don't know. They talk a lot about dark night of the soul. I don't know what your conversation another day, but just throwing it out there, the dark night of the soul. People sometimes so there's so many different experiences. You never know case per case, person per person, what your spiritual awakening will look like, what your journey down the path of light, choosing that will look like. But to have people that can support you, like Leon, like me, like so many other light workers and star seeds or practitioners of the healing arts, usually are called to those things because they're here to support the collective. We're very different. And if you are one of those people that feel that way, right? That feel like you're different family, you're the generational cycle breaker, you're the one, who knows, there's so many different. I know I resonate with the generational cycle breaker,
Yeah,
so maybe this is for you, and
yeah,
this
it's
esoteric trip is amazing. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, it's whether you go to Chandelle for her workshops or come to me uh, on the workshops, modalities or retreats, whatever, uh, you're stepping into the right path of your enlightenment. Um, because not all teachers are can accept can teach all pupils. It's like every teacher has its own audience. It's like staircases. Every teacher has its own staircase, but the problem is, uh, uh, let's say professors on top can teach everyone, but not all pupils can listen to the professor because the difference in the frequency is so high that
Yes.
they will not accept that knowledge. It has to come from someone with lower frequency. So same is with healing. I can heal everyone, but not all are willing to accept my healing.
I made a post about this yesterday, so I'm really happy that you're talking about this.
it's
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 free
matter
will
it's
too.
free will. It's but as you know, if you truly start to heal yourself, you're healing the cause of whatever sickness there is.
So
It's
focus on you.
usually everything is here. Everything starts here. Not necessary in this life.
Hmm.
Because, for instance, for a cold, it has a reason. You're sweaty. You
Hmm.
know you shouldn't get a cold drink. You know that you shouldn't go to a draft, but you do it anyway.
You feel it, but that's people also learning the distinction of
Exactly.
alter ego versus maybe your intuition guiding you, I guess is the way
Yeah.
you would word it.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Intuition is
still a baby, I feel. You're, like I said, Leon's the
it's
master.
you're not a baby. You're just let's say you have humanity as a general. So all the people, all the beings that doesn't have high frequency, not necessarily consciousness frequency. That's two different stuff. Uh, are in general students. They can be in kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, uh, college, high school, university, then you have professors. Then you
Hmm.
have teachers that teach professors. And then you have few teachers that teach professors that teach uh, other professors that teach pupils.
And that's why Leon teaches professors.
I'm not telling who's or which. Um, anyway, and I'm telling you, your professor at least, and there and all the professors and all the teachers. It doesn't matter which level they are, they're always learning because their pupils are teachers for them. You're breaking up. I can't hear you nowhere.
Can you
You
hear me
have
now?
yes,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
I was
everything is
saying that I agree with you 100% that in my personal experience, because everything in my life has been 100% experience, a
yeah,
100% experience, that the people who I've crossed paths with and I've been able to hold space for them to remember their truth, I have myself have not only received the lovely energy on my end, but then also come to closer to that realization of who I am, what I'm doing, and it's very supportive to me. I am always on the receiving end, also learning, and expanding
exactly.
from my clients or for the people that I'm choosing to hold space for. So I would say I help people, like I'm a prime buffer. I get people to connect to their soul. They call me the midwife of the soul.
Yeah,
So, which is funny because my mom's the midwife of babies, and that's my daughter. Speaking of babies, come here. This is my daughter. This is
oh,
the podcast. I love you, baby. So yeah, so that's my daughter right there. So she's actually the reason why I chose the light
yeah.
more than ever.
Well,
My
you becoming a mother,
yes,
emphasized on
yes,
mother,
there's baby.
uh, started your journey.
Yes, it did. And I was in a very dark place of addiction, of codependency, of attracting narcissistic characters. I don't know if that resonates with you, the whole narcissism thing. I don't
A lot,
narcissism because that's something
a
that's big
lot.
here in the United States. We might have to do a
Yeah,
whole
it's
segment on
here.
narcissism
Yeah, we can.
and empath.
No problem. Yeah. Uh, let's
But
say
yeah, so
from from narcissists to empath, that would be a nice journey.
they got contracts.
Yeah, well, everyone has.
Do they come? Do they come down here? But specifically, like narcissisms are assigned to like empaths.
No, we're all in a way of path of enlightenment, just at different speeds. As I said, you have touristic way, uh, mountaineering way,
Right,
and climb. We're all the same.
right,
We're
and I
all the
understand
same. We're
that now.
so. Oh yeah. So, but everyone comes with different backgrounds and from different points of hmm, from different points of darkness. I'm not talking just about this life. Now, look, I'm old, not this physical body, but I'm old. That means that my karma accumulated a lot, and let's say only in few past lives, and I'm not talking the beginning, but let's say last cycle. Uh, I'm getting there, um, and as I said before, I know my darkness. I know my blessing, my gifts. I misuse them. I know that. I misuse them greatly to enormous extent. But yeah, I'm clearing that, and taking this as a lesson. And maybe we can do a workshop, karmic one, something about karma, how to clean and clear the karma, and uh, the process, you know,
Yeah, that would be.
the tools.
Mhm.
Give people the tools, and
People need the tools for sure. There's a lot of people.
exactly. And as I said before, there's certain ways you can proceed. Uh, so it's slow. Uh, I'm talking about fast forward things. Slow way on workshops, individual from here and there. Not connected. You can find some really good spiritual teacher uh, that has monthly workshops, uh, private sessions, and work through those. Then you have retreats. Uh, I'm talking quality retreats, so not just pretty workshop on pretty location. Uh, then there is when you can get uh, accumulated uh, upload, download, whatever you want to call it, huge kick in the butt, and you progress, let's say, 2, 3 times a year through retreat. Or you can divide this on monthly basis, once or twice, depends who you work with, or you can do everything: retreats, workshop, workshops, individual, not connected those. And this is something, uh, but you need to uh, be careful, because if you put too much pressure on yourself, the more you can handle, uh, the alter ego starts to
I was going
kicking
to ask
in.
you that.
So because it's if it's too much, it's toxic. Too much good
You
isn't good.
can't do it. You can't like try. You can't. You can't go try through the situation through your spiritual awakening. You can't like rush through and just take all
Exactly.
of these classes and overload yourself. Sometimes you have to pace yourself and allow the information to integrate from receiving
Yeah.
information.
Remember how we met? What, 2 years ago? 2, 3 years ago? 2 years ago, probably.
Ayahuasca, like 2 years
Through
ago.
ayahuasca, emerald forest. It's like emerald forest is like uh, stepping on a huge slingshot. Uh, eject yourself towards enlightenment, and ignite Saturn V rocket in your ass with unlimited fuel.
Clearly not for the faint of heart.
No, and it's, let's say, it's for a few that have proven themselves that they can actually control their ego, and they can handle the
Okay.
Pandora box of karma. It's But this is not for someone. Uh, it's super interesting, super appealing, but it's super hard. It's not even Formula One of spiritual awakening. It's like space travel, Asgard style. So not just going through
That's
light,
something that
li-
sounds like fun.
close close to light speed, but multiple light speed, speed of light. So let's start.
Yes, I had someone who spoke about that.
Yeah,
Speed of lights,
yeah,
super speed of light.
yeah, exactly. Not one, two, three, four, five. This is enormous, and uh, it's not
Hmm.
recommended for. 99.9999% of people of 1,444,000. So yeah, it's
That
definitely,
number,
yeah, it's interesting, right? Right.
yes, it comes up a lot for me personally on my journey from a long time since teenager,
Yeah. Well,
the
if you're one
144.
of them,
And
you're one
also,
of them.
Archangel Michael has always been by my side without fail. And not because I look for it, because I know that there's people out there that I get really obsessed with being, oh, this or that. I don't look for things. I'm not obsessed about twin flames, about get curious. Okay, what can it teach me? How can I? And then little by little things come onto my into my path. And so the
Okay. Well,
144 and the I don't know if you've heard of this book before called The Book of the North. Have you heard of this book?
I have just heard, didn't read it.
There's
Well,
different
it's
series of it, but that one
yeah.
I have that.
Well, my advice to you: start thinking in which family, of, let's say, numbers you are group of. So 144, 1000, 440, 14,000, 400, 144,000, 1,440,000. So just adding zeros.
That's a lot. That's a lot of 100, a lot of zeros back there, but I feel very drawn to, and the Book of the North, for those who are not aware of what it is, it's a story about a man who shares his childhood and what came onto his path. Was supposed to do work alongside Archangel Michael to protect children,
Mm-hmm.
and but it goes deeper than that. It also goes into intuition and synchronicities and things that are sacred to, I think, what we call mystery school, the mystery school, what mystery schools
Mm-hmm.
teach. So that's for another day, but that's something that come onto my path, and that's why I had shared with you that the 144 I'm very curious about, because clearly it's trying to point me towards a direction. And
Exactly.
so for me, I'm staying open now. So for those who are on their spiritual awakening, I am a live testimonial of having things trying to awaken me. And either I could choose the touristic route, or I could go to the esoteric trips, or choose conscious communities where I can seek elders or people who can activate me, but definitely always feel into if it's a good fit, because you definitely want to use discernment. Yes,
Yes, exactly.
discernment,
You
is
always
that a
need to,
thing?
yes, you always need to listen to your heart. What works for you, what doesn't. And if you're someone that is actively looking and not being happy with most teachers, uh, maybe consider me, because I probably you're too high frequency to settle with average. So yeah. Uh, anyway, it's
That's
almost two
better.
hours now.
Yeah, that's better conversation left for next time. But the September, please share the dates for the September trip. We're also going to be posting the link for more details of what to expect for the trip, and then just a recap of who it's for and the benefits, of course.
Yeah. The retreat is happening on September 17th towards 26th. So it's 7 day, 7 days. The first and the last day are arrival and departure day, and everything else it's work, 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 work. Who is it for? For everyone that wants to fast forward their progress, their um, their spiritual path, wants to learn and know who they are, where they're coming from, and uh, start opening the Pandora box of karma. And why it's so important to know where you're coming from and who you are, because when you know who you are, what is your name, your star name, your last name, your family name. I'm not talking about the earth one. I'm talking the one, the true, your true name, your true family, uh, and where you're coming from. Then you can connect to your home, and you will receive help if you ask for, and you will receive help from your system, from your home planet, and this alone will fast forward your progress. So if you're, let's say, attend one of my retreats, I'm super. Uh, it's very recommended. It's not about money. I don't do this about for money. I do this because it's my mission, and I need to live basically for something. Uh, uh, then I really recommend that you're also attending workshops, because it's not just occasional jump in your frequencies and your consciousness. It's constant. And on workshops, we always talk about the problems, the things that are bothering you, the problems, the ego, how to control it, and we help each other in clearing karma inside the group. Uh, so it's very intense, but at the same time manageable. It's manageable progress, and maybe the retreats are definitely not for everyone, but uh, those are not touristic sightseeing. I'm not doing this. Yeah, we see things and I explain things, where, what, the history of the place. This is the bonus. Everything is about, all the retreats and workshops are about you, your progress. Connect to yourself, to connect to the planets, to the pyramids, to the sacred places. And this is something that it's, I'm not saying unique, but rare in retreat business. Everyone is connecting to yourself, but connecting to the planets, to the sacred places, to your higher consciousness, yourself as a soul, because soul is like a pilot of a drone. Same way, just the vessel is different. And if drone is communicating with the pilot and the communication goes both ways, you can control, let's say, the soul, and the soul controls the personality. But there's a catch, as always. You need to distinguish soul and spirit. Spirit is more physical way, physical 3D stuff. Soul is higher dimensions. Soul is more energy. It's not even that. It's something different. It's source, basically.
You have to have your own personal even really taste. That's why the
Yeah.
senses, I think, are so powerful as receptors, to not
Yeah.
just go with everything we visually see, but to really sink into, you know, feeling it, experiencing it ourselves. And that's why these trips are really that we come across can be very powerful because they could be a couple
Exactly.
steps ahead and activate us, hold space for us. Good facilitators, they don't project. Projection is dangerous, in my opinion, when
Exactly.
you're a facilitator. And that's why having someone that is in the arts and continuation of education, being a student and a teacher all at the same time is just a part of it. And never coming, always humbling yourself too, because to say that you know everything, the more, if anything, I've realized that the more that I know, the less I know.
Exactly.
So, in a way, you get what I'm saying? Because it's so
Yeah.
expansive and so intricate, but so beautiful. Um, and when that point through pain, through past the pain factor, you get into that sovereignty stage, it's a really sweet place to be in and to maneuver from.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, a lot of my clients come from right here. A lot of my clients are cerebral
Hmm.
my whole life. But there's something to be said about uniting all of who you be physically, energetically, spiritually. And these trips are really a great way to do that. And in no way, shape, or form do I think it's expensive. And I speak to the psychology of the United States when I say, look at what you spend your money on now, because I guarantee void. So, true investment of what money really represents, which is the abundance that Mother Earth provides to us, everything that is green, which is abundance, that comes from the goddess, in my opinion, is what money truly represents. And abundance is all around us. There's an abundance of scarcity and there's an abundance of enoughness. It just depends on which focus. Like there's an abundance on either or, you know. So using your money to really invest in nourishing yourself in ways like how it's telling him empty calories versus calories, right? Like you could go a certain route that makes you feel like you're getting instant gratification in some way, a fulfillment in some way, but long term wise, once that thing is gone, like what is there really, right? So investing money in things like a trip and things on, maybe even supporting the earth with your money in sustainable ways. There's so many different ways to look at the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, in my opinion. So
Exactly.
I'm really excited about working with you more, and even with the stage that I personally am at as a practitioner, exploring. I mean, I want you to teach me, so I'm interested in what that looks like. And
Oh, depends.
I'm ready for the karmic Pandora box. I think that that's even, to be honest with you, if I really want to be authentic, I think that maybe that's why we've been united to support one another. The reason why we joined forces is because I'm representing the US for Leon, because now with COVID having pretty much settled, we no longer need to worry about taking these trips and having to get, the vaccine or putting ourselves in situations that maybe don't honor us, because I know I'm not one with the vaccine. So now with that being down, we can travel freely and not have to compromise. And so I'm really excited for that personally. And for all of you who are interested in this trip on the US side, we're going to put up the links to the website. Feel free to reach out to any one of us, but you can reach out to me and I'll make sure to put in my Instagram and my email, and we can have open discussions about the trips and how to prepare yourself, what's required, right? Which the website also
Yeah.
talks about what to expect. Glamp,
Exactly.
or do you want to glamp, or do you want to have the experience in a apartment style, right? There's
Yeah.
lots of options. But the most important, and something that I didn't get to ask you, was you have these beautiful stones that you lay that are laid out on the land. And I wanted to talk about that too. So if we can even just close with how that plays a part, like again, the container that you're in, the land and the energy.
Um, well, we had my wife and me and our community in Slovenia uh, have designed and made two installations in here in Bosnian Valley of Pyramids. But unfortunately, they were removed. Um, they will be made once more, but you know, it's time. Uh, and it's like we still have energy park that is growing in Slovenia near Ljubljana. In but that's another story. But energy parks, energy installations, stone installations like uh, Stonehenge, they're becoming sacred places. All, or at least the ones that are good, are sitting on very strong energy points that are already balanced. And if they're not balanced, they're fixed. So they are balanced now, and all installations that are made throughout the history are emphasizing uh, and enhancing and cultivating energies throughout the planet. So it's like having a generator here, generator there. It's like having decentralized energy grid.
Plus us as energetic batteries coming
Exactly.
into the mix and multiplying and amplifying our energies as a
Yeah,
collective.
with the meditations, with ceremonies, with everything. So, uh, and actually, you can observe this in human frequencies.
Mm.
Every time that a ceremony, a powerful one with a lot of people, or very powerful meditation is done on such places, there is the spike. Period. But with people that are inside at least 1,440,000.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time to wrap everything up.
Yeah, I think that that just proves that, and even more so that practitioners who call, like, I know that, and it just dawned on me a couple of last year, I had been asking someone that was my mentor that I wanted to find groups where I could do back end energy work. Whenever there's something happening in the rainforest, whenever there's a war, whenever there was something that I would want to be part of a group that's doing the back end energy work, that's centering and grounding and connecting consciously. So I feel like that's also part of it, and amplifying your energies in a collective setting is really amazing for not just us, but obviously we can unlock many things, the planets and all of that. So that's beautiful. And I'm glad that you wrapped it up with saying that, because that is the benefit of being on these esoteric trips
Exactly.
and becoming more conscious and wielding your life with more responsibility, more
Hmm.
love, more zest of life, because you know how vital it is. So
Exactly.
thank you so much, Leon, for being here with
Thank you.
me.
Thank you, Chandelle, for having me in this beautiful podcast. And
Yes. Well, we're going to
where
have
when
many
are we
more.
going to? Yeah, it set it up like we're going to have every 2 weeks one, but who knows? Maybe we will. Anyway,
Yeah.
sign up on esoterictrips.com. There's somewhere there some newsletter signing up form, or just shoot me a message through the contact form,
Yeah.
or her, doesn't matter. One of us, for more info, or for you know newsletter, so you will always be updated what's happening with us, with our teachings, our work, what is happening in the world. Once in a while, we will send some um, recap what's going on in the background, probably, if we have time to write this everything down.
Absolutely. It's
So,
fun. It's fun when you connect with people and you have these conversations. So time kind of flies and it's hard to
yeah,
disconnect.
okay, Chandelle, and
So, but this is Nurture Thy Nature and Leon Goldenhands from Esoteric
okay,
Trips, one of the many first series. Have a wonderful, blessed day today. And remember, we are here for you, for your expansion and for your growth.
okay. See you all, and see you next time. Bye.
Hopefully in September.
Yeah. Bye.